has to become like brushing your teeth for this to work. You didn't get to where you are now in terms of the state of mind that you're in, except by constantly practicing the thinking that you do about who you are, constantly practicing being the personality and living your life the way most people live it. That's a consistent practice that you've been doing for years and years. You're not going to come out of that. Your brain's not going to change overnight unless you practice something else and retrain the brain in a way that's more realistic. And that's going to take a commitment. It's going to take a practice that happens every single day. But if you do the practice every single day over time, and if you study these teachings, it will begin to change the way you experience yourself in your life. You'll begin to be calmer, you'll begin to experience being satisfied, you'll begin to experience having clarity, to be able to see things more realistically. And because of all that, your relationships will become more workable, you'll be able to take better care of the physical body, and you will not be as vulnerable to addiction. It will be not necessary to try and escape from your experience. You'll be happy to experience the experience that you're having of being alive and being awake.
Yeah.
And that's what we're practicing, moving attention away from thinking. So if you're moving attention away from thinking, one of the things that becomes possible is to discover that there's something other than thinking, that you can be aware without thinking. And as a matter of fact, that the awareness that you are does not think. It is aware of thought, but it does not think. It does not need to think because it has a natural intelligence. It has natural discretion. And as you wake up from these mistaken beliefs about yourself and begin to experience your true nature, you begin to experience the fact that you can be aware of what's going on and be intelligent in terms of your responses to the challenges of life. You can be aware of what's going on and be relaxed and trust the fact that your awareness is what knows. It never was your personality that knew anything. It was always the awareness which was in the background, and that awareness in the background was being ignored because it didn't have a form. Right? And when you're ignoring something as important as your true nature, that's called ignorance. The word ignorance is based on the word ignore, right? When you ignore something of significance, you're being ignorant. And when you ignore your true nature, you're being ignorant. And when you're being ignorant, you suffer. So these teachings and practices are about realizing a possibility for well-being. Dr. Richard Davidson, a neuroscientist, wrote a book about the brain science, about the research that has been done on the brain in the last 20 to 25 years. And that book talks about the fact that they were able to put experienced meditation practitioners in brain scan machines and get pictures of their brain and compare those pictures to the brains of people that never practiced meditation, and they discovered that the meditators' brains were significantly different in structure and function. So your brain, we now know that the brain is plastic, it's neuroplasticity. Your brain is changing all the time. It's adapting to the way you're being. Yeah, so, but the brain doesn't have consciousness, it doesn't have awareness, so it has to accept whatever information you put into it. Garbage in, garbage out for people who understand that computer technology talk, right? And so if you have a lot of stupid, ignorant beliefs that are circulating around in your brain, that stuff results in what you say and how you behave, which means that what you speak and how you behave is not very intelligent, is not very sophisticated, is not very functional. So if you change your brain, the way you speak and behave changes in a more functional way. So the brain science is in now, and we know that meditation works. There's no question about it anymore. In fact, one of the things that Dr. Davidson said in his many YouTube videos. You can go on YouTube and listen to some of his lectures about this. And what he said is the conclusion that he came to after all these years of studying the brain in relationship to meditation, the conclusion that he arrived at is that well-being is a practice. Well-being is a practice. This is significant to understand because all of us want well-being, don't we? Everybody wants to feel well. What is well-being? Well-being includes specific characteristics like what we call happiness, satisfaction, peace of mind, clarity. These are all the aspects of well-being, and we all want these aspects of well-being. We could even say that well-being is our primary goal in life, is it not? You know, isn't happiness what everybody seeks? Isn't peace what everybody wants? Isn't satisfaction what everybody's seeking, right? But the problem is everybody's seeking it and using up all their energy to try and get this experience in the wrong way that doesn't work, because happiness is not a function of material wealth. It's not a function of what you have. It's a function of experiencing what you are. So this is a real possibility to experience well-being, to get up in the morning and not wake up into a nightmare, to get up in the morning and not wake up with a burden on your shoulders, to be able to wake up in an experience of aliveness, to wake up in an experience of well-being, an experience of being satisfied, happy and peaceful, and then live your life instead of living your life to try and get the happiness, satisfaction, and peace. It's really an amazing reality when you come to understand that what you want more than anything is always available to you, because the awareness that you are is an experience of well-being, and therefore it's always available to you, but you have to train yourself to be aware of being aware. You have to train yourself to pay attention to the foundation of your existence, which is awareness itself. And if you train yourself to do that over time through the practice of meditation, the time will come when that experience never leaves. That experience becomes a constant experience that you're having. So no matter what the circumstances are in your life, good, bad, or otherwise, you're still satisfied, happy, content, and at peace. You see this if you look at experienced meditators that have been practicing for, decades. If you look at them, you can see the peace. You can see how peaceful they are. You can see the contentment. You can see the clarity that they have. They're able to immediately respond to the challenges of life. They're able to immediately respond to everything that's happening around them. And when I say respond, I don't mean react. Most human beings are reacting to what's happening instead of responding. When you respond to what's happening, it's called responsibility. Your ability to respond is called responsibility, okay? So when you practice meditation over time, your ability to be responsible expands, and you become more able to respond in the situations you find yourself in instead of react. If you react to the situations you find yourself in, what's happening is the data is coming into the brain is taking the data and comparing it to your past experiences, right? And when it finds a past experience that's close enough to the one you're having now, it has you repeat the same behavior, the same thoughts, and the same emotions as you did at some point in the past. Why? Because you're still here, that means you must have survived. And the brain is a survival operation. Okay? Doesn't matter whether you're happy, by the way. It just matters whether you continue to exist, right? So most people are more interested in continuing to exist even if you're miserable. Because you just keep playing the game with the idea that someday maybe I'll really win.